that it has in store for us, and starting off pretty early for your Monday morning. Let's take a look at your severe weather risk. This is for the overnight period, so technically still classified as Sunday, but this is not anything that will occur before midnight. We're dealing with this throughout the overnight period. We could see a few showers make their way into our region by 1 to 2 o'clock, but the overall severe weather risk should be later on tonight, or more for your Monday morning hours. So make sure to tune in bright and early with our morning meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, but we'll have our eyes on it around the clock to make sure to keep you guys updated, and we'll break down those threats as we get ready and throughout the rest of the broadcast ahead. So limited severe weather threat potential for your Monday morning. That is what we're going to discuss throughout the rest of the broadcast ahead. We're still going to deal with those toasty afternoons and what we have been very familiar to so far as we've gone about this weekend. We're dealing with those heat advisories, those extreme heat warnings. Those follow us all until our Tuesday evening. A few of those could get extended, and we'll continue breaking down those threats as we get ready for your Monday morning coming on up. But let's start off taking live looks all across North Mississippi as we still enjoy these dry and clear conditions across our region. 82 degrees feels like 97, so this continues to be the story. Even when the sun is set and we are enjoying drier and just darker skies, we're still significantly warmer, almost feeling like we're in the triple digits at 9 o'clock at night. That's going to be the story as we get ready for the next few days. Out here in Ackerman, you can see that moonlight starting to shine across the horizon. 82 degrees, but hey, feels like 82. So Choctaw, y'all are beating the story right now, feeling pretty good out there and actually feeling like you're in the low 80s. So two different stories depending on where you are here in our viewing area. Big thanks to Fastnet for sponsoring this camera out there in Choctaw County. Not a bad place to be tonight. Out here in Cleveland, 88 degrees, feels like 99. 11-degree difference, 1 degree off from still feeling like you're in the triple digits. Again, just kind of a hot way to end the work weekend. The weekend. Speaking of hot, taking a look at your current alerts, we're dealing with these heat advisories and extreme heat warnings all across the United States, but especially here in North Mississippi, seeing these warnings continuing to maybe slowly push further and further eastward, eastward, continuing into your Tuesday evening. These won't expire till around 8 o'clock on your Tuesday night, so we're still going to have to deal with this for the next 48 hours ahead. A few more of us might have to deal with it into our Wednesday, but we'll keep you updated. Let's start with the first 12 as we get ready for this overnight period ahead. We're starting off in the low 80s by 10 o'clock, slowly cooling off towards the mid 70s by 4. And as we get ready for our Monday morning, yes, a few of us will deal with a soggy work commute. A few of us will even deal with some gusty conditions as we're walking out the door. Wind will start blowing our hair frantically as we're getting ready for the day, but it's not going to be an all-day situation. In fact, those rain chances really struggle past the mid-morning hours. It's almost going to be a completely dry Monday once we get through that soggy patch for your morning hours. Now, let's take a look at your Doppler radar sponsored by Mama Justice. Little things have changed, and we'll see if you can spot them really quick. But before I explain them, we're talking about dry conditions all across our region. Still not talking about those showers that Futurecast was trying to give us something to look at earlier on during our 6 o'clock broadcast. We were expecting dry conditions to continue throughout the rest of your Sunday evening. And if you haven't spotted it yet already, you can see there's a little bit more green on our radar. This time, not really showers, but we do see that severe thunderstorm watch in place out there towards Tennessee, kind of issued just across the state line. So not too far from Alcorn County, Tishomingo County, pretty much just right across the state line. You guys would be under a severe thunderstorm watch, and that will expire around 1 o'clock earlier on tonight. And we can see a little bit further north, I can move this out of the way, where those severe thunderstorm warnings currently are. We'll see if we can get somewhat of a better look. I guess we can switch this over to national. It won't be as crisp as what we can see down here, but you can tell that some of these storms are continuing to pack a punch as they're crossing the northern Tennessee state line into the Tennessee state, and they're going to continue moving further and further south. And this is the area that we're going to continue to watch for some of that severe weather potential, and we're going to continue nailing down the timing overall for that severe weather threat and what all it brings. I will tell you right now here at the start of the broadcast, we're not expecting a tornado threat. we're not expecting a hail threat. It just continues to be a wind-driven severe weather threat. So gusty winds, we've already seen the damage it can do with some just ordinary summertime pop-up showers and thunderstorms. So make sure to stay weather aware into the rest of your overnight period and into your Monday morning ahead. So let's take a look here at surface analysis as we continue on here in the broadcast. That stationary front already transitioning back to another cold front here in our region. Again, not bringing anything significant temperature-wise. We're definitely not going to feel cold in the meanwhile. But taking a look at those watches, you can see those remain in place or get issued for Central Tennessee. And thankfully, we have not seen anything for North Mississippi or even into Alabama just quite yet. If we were to see that, that would occur later tonight after we see how these storms continue to behave. But the main story is it's a little bit more prominent further north. And I think I can actually pull that up here with our national. We can pull up SPC. There we go. We can change that and we'll do day 1 risk. We're going to see that level 2 slight risk. Take a look at that and how it got extended a little bit further south. So we were dealing with increased confidence the further north you go, even to level 3 up there towards Wisconsin and closer towards the Great Lakes region. But we are seeing that confidence continue to increase with the overall severe weather potential, making its way further and further south. We saw that level 2 risk kind of get increased in coverage, but we're not seeing that level 1 risk change either. And then we can bump this up to now, I believe that'll give us the current. That way it's not on a loop anymore. Thankfully, we're not seeing that get extended into our region. So confidence for us continues to remain overall low for the coverage of severe weather, but we're continuing to see those storms continue to make an impact, making their way further and further down in the southeast. And that's what we're going to keep our eyes on as we get ready for your Monday morning. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Now, I'll preface this by saying I've looked at each model run throughout the past few hours, and they all look different. So the confidence and uncertainty continues for this line that will move on through. Again, we're still not dealing with tornadoes or hail as a primary threat, but we will deal with some of those damaging wind gusts, especially kind of the bowing segment that models have been consistent on. It's just the timing and how much North Mississippi will get. Well, that continues to be the question. As we look forward to the rest of our overnight period, we're starting at around 2 o'clock, and we can still see some of those showers moving into North Mississippi. Not expecting anything too impactful or severe at that moment right here with this current time with what I can see right now. As we continue throughout the rest of the overnight period, take a look at that line. Now that would probably be the more meaningful shower and kind of storm producer as it makes its way through. But again, not quite as impressive as what it looks like up there in northern Tennessee. So as it continues to make its way further south, it's losing its head of steam, losing its intensity and kind of, I guess, strength. And so that will continue to aid us as we continue throughout the rest of the overnight period and into our Monday morning hours. Now, we can't escape them just completely. We're still dealing with some of those rain chances as we're starting off our morning. Upper 70s by 6 o'clock, mid 80s by 9, mid 90s already by 12 o'clock, soaring into the upper 90s as we're dealing with those drier and sunnier skies pretty much throughout the rest of your day. So even on the 7-day forecast, when those rain chances are pretty minimal, you'll always have to imagine that 10%. It's for our early morning hours. But then throughout the rest of the day, it's completely dry. So we still have pretty much a mostly dry Monday in store. We just have to deal with a few soggy and potentially stormy conditions as we start off the day. And that's for a very few of us. Now, we're going to continue to do a full in-depth look at that severe weather threat and who all it impacts with all those threats and what that looks like for you. And of course, just how toasty we're going to get heading into your Monday, heading into your Tuesday, and when that relief will finally make its way here. All of that's coming up in the next 60 seconds.
I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem. And that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Looking for a place to finally call home? At Tupelo Home Center, we make it easy. From finding the perfect home to making financing a breeze, we'll take care of everything. Your new home is closer than you think. Pre-qualify today at TupeloHomeCenter.com.
Welcome to the next generation of local news, Mississippi Live. Where you are, when you want it, we're focused on you because local matters. We are Mississippi Live.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us for Mississippi Live at 9. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, imagine that 10% for your Monday, as only a few of us will deal with these storms and soggy conditions as we're starting off the day. But past maybe 10 a.m. and on, it's going to be a completely dry and toasty Monday in store. Temperatures in the upper 90s. That will continue into your Tuesday. Bringing back those rain chances for your Wednesday before drying up yet again on your Thursday. Starting to see a shift in the weather pattern as we cool our way back down degree at a time towards the low 90s and dealing with more widespread, greater chances of rainfall and storms on your upcoming Saturday. Now let's take a look at those current conditions right now here in Tupelo. Wind not really playing a factor, but 85 degrees feels like a 100. So now we finally see a spot here in our region that we actually do feel like triple digits at the 9:11, 9:12 time here on your Sunday evening. That dew point right around 81 degrees. So yeah, it's definitely muggy here in North Mississippi, and we just still have that humid air mass that storms will continue to kind of thrive off of. So let's take a look at Futurecast. This is the latest look, and I will preface this by saying this one's kind of an outlier compared to all the ones that come out hour by hour, showing two different lines making their way through, but thankfully not quite as intense. As we continue throughout the rest of the overnight period ahead, we're still staying dry even towards 1:30. It looks like this one may have updated. We'll have to see. This might not be the one I was just looking at. So we get these hour by hour, and even by the 9 o'clock, I think it may have already switched over. But we're talking about those rain chances and how most models continue to show them a little bit more relevant further out east towards Alabama. So not quite dealing with anything by the 1:30 time frame. And as we continue throughout the rest of the overnight period ahead, still not dealing with those rain or stormy conditions just quite yet. And even by 6 o'clock, I'm going to check this. I don't trust this right now, and I want to make sure it's actually pulling in radar. Well, it looks like it was just right there because we see some up there just south of Bolivar. And yeah, I was doing that. Let's see which one this is pulling from. Oh yeah, okay. So this, it did pull the 0Z. Okay, perfect. So the sounding, or not sounding, the model run that just came out, we can zoom this out for you guys. That way you can kind of see how this progresses throughout the overnight hours. A lot more prominent kind of right now ongoing. So doing fairly well with the placement and overall intensity for the northern portions of Tennessee at the 9 o'clock hour. And as we continue throughout the rest of the overnight period, we're going to continue to see it dig further and further south across Tennessee where that level 2 slight risk was extended for you guys out there in central Tennessee. But as it gets closer and closer towards Alabama and more of the southeast, it loses its overall strength and intensity. So I'd be curious to see how the models continue to pick up on this throughout the overnight period, but I will say it continues to keep it further out east. If we were to see anything, it just graces the state line for our Alabama counties, Tishomingo, Itawamba, Monroe. You guys could see some of these showers and storms, but the overall coverage remains fairly limited. And thankfully, we're continuing to see that before we can start talking about kind of the second batch starting to form a little bit by 6 o'clock. Now, that is also going to be something that we're going to keep our eyes on, but it making its way down towards North Mississippi is going to struggle just a little bit throughout the day ahead tomorrow. It's going to be a pretty dry day ahead. So taking a look at your low temperatures, and I'm already thinking about trying something out here on our next Futurecast, so you'll have to bear with me. But it's going to be mid to upper 70s all across North Mississippi as we're getting our day going. So still a warm and above average start. And for you guys on the far eastern side, you guys could deal with some gusty conditions as that wind continues to blow on through. So your severe weather risk for your Sunday, or well, technically into your Monday, it still just kind of counts as today. We're dealing with most of us not really in that level 1 risk. It's for you guys out there towards Alcorn, Northeast Prentiss, Tishomingo County, getting closer towards Red Bay, and Russellville out there towards our northernmost Alabama County. And when we're talking about your threats, tornado risk, that continues to not be one. Hail also continues to not be one, and this is not something that we have to stay up late for and kind of dread and be stressful about. Y'all are good to get ready for the work week. The only threat that we're going to have to deal with is the damaging wind risk and the potential for some localized areas of some heavy rainfall that could cause some flooding for some flood-prone areas. So let's continue to break that down here on Futurecast, and I want to see if I can break this to where it'll still show 0C, because I think it will, since it was just showing it on that one. Let's see if we actually, let's zoom it out before I do that. If I can get it to load. There we go. Not going down to Louisiana. We got to make sure to forecast for North Mississippi here. So this is pulling from 18Z earlier today. And if we switch this, perfect. Okay, so we're going to take a look at 0C. We're also going to take a look at that second line that tries to develop a little bit further north. So we're going to start zoomed out. That way you guys can see the big picture. And as we continue throughout our morning hours, those showers and kind of line moved on through. And this is what we're going to get ready for as we get ready for 8 to 9 o'clock. See, this is why we're mentioning that this severe weather threat for us here in North Mississippi doesn't quite occur overnight. So we're not going to have to deal with anything at that 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Hopefully with this latest model run, we should be good to go to enjoy a stress-free overnight period. But make sure to tune in bright and early with our morning meteorologist, Maggie McCauley. She will get you ready for some of these storms as she'll have some more model runs coming in. So this is around 9 o'clock for your Monday morning, where we could start seeing them push closer and closer into North Mississippi. We can zoom back in towards our region here, which I don't think I can actually press that. So we'll have to do it that way manually. There we go. So we'll zoom back in. I'll zoom that out. That way you can kind of see me and all of North Mississippi there with our Alabama counties. As we continue by 9 o'clock, we're still seeing those storms kind of grace by our region, a little bit more relevant for you guys out there across the state line into Alabama. And you can see those storms continue to push closer and closer before moving on out. And we're already back to those dry conditions by 12 o'clock. Now for the rest of our viewing area, y'all are enjoying these dry skies all day long. It's just for you people, or you guys around state line, that will deal with some of these showers and thunderstorms as we go about our Monday morning hours. Again, very isolated for the main picture here in North Mississippi, more concentrated for you guys out there in Alabama and kind of affecting Tishomingo, Monroe, Itawamba, Lowndes County, even in towards Noxubee. But we're dealing with those dry conditions already by lunchtime. We can still see a few pop-up showers, but again, not really dealing with anything quite as widespread. By 3 o'clock, we're already enjoying sunny skies, clearer skies, which also means it's going to be very toasty, and that will thankfully continue into the rest of our evening as we get ready for our 5 and 6 o'clock broadcast. So let me pull us out of that, and then we'll continue on here towards our highs, and I'll have to fix that since I kind of changed a little bit. This is honestly going to be a big story for a lot of us here in North Mississippi, as most of us won't see that rain, but a good majority, if not, well, technically all of us, will have to deal with that heat tomorrow. We're talking about your highs working their way up towards the upper 90s very quickly. Feels like values continue to impress in a bad way, soaring towards 105 or greater. Why we see those advisories or extreme heat warnings all across our region. So keep that water bottle handy with school back in session. Make sure the kids have their water bottles packed. It will be a hot day, and you want to make sure we can all stay very hydrated as we go about the next few. Now, for the kids who are not back in school yet, it'll still be a fantastic day to spend out at the pool, maybe not in the morning hours as those storms kind of blow on through across the state line in Alabama. Low 80s by 8 o'clock, mid 90s by noon, upper 90s by 3 o'clock, already dealing with those sunnier skies, so UV index going to be pretty high as well. Sunscreen is going to be just as important as we get ready for the day tomorrow. So coming back to Futurecast, this time with our strike model, we're starting off Monday evening around 6 o'clock, still doing very well, taking off those rain chances. We're staying completely dry for your Monday evening. We're seeing some more kind of lines of showers and storms move further out east for Alabama, thankfully not quite impacting us here in North Mississippi. And here's the relief that we're looking for. Again, it's not going to be instantaneous, but we see what looks to be the start of a cold front by 8:30 on your Tuesday. We'll slowly push across our region, and with that, it could bring maybe a light shower or sprinkle or two. Not dealing with anything intense or heavy. This is not a strong front by any means, but it will eventually start the shift in the weather pattern that we will experience throughout the rest of the work week. We're dealing with these dry and clear sunny skies all throughout the day, but could deal with a few showers kind of lingering behind the front throughout your late Tuesday evening into your early Wednesday morning hours. Now, not quite talking about anything strong or intense at this point. If that were to change, we'll let you guys know. But Tuesday, also looking to be a very dry day, very sunny, very toasty. Highs continue to soar into the upper 90s. 101 out there in Greenville, 100 out there in Belzona, 99 in Greenwood. Feels like values, they continue to soar as well. Triple digits, 105 easily, pushing 110 in several regions or areas here in North Mississippi. So that water bottle, it's just going to be a staple to pack throughout the next few days as we get ready to cool on off. So taking a look at that 7-day forecast, again, upper 90s throughout the start of the work week before we can see that shift in the weather pattern begin. That will start to help us feel a lot better on our Wednesday. Still bringing some of those rain chances, especially into the overnight hours, cooling off towards the low 90s throughout the rest of the work week, and dealing with potentially some stormy conditions as we get ready for the next weekend here in North Mississippi. A little bit, or pretty much most prominent on your Saturday compared to your Saturday and Sunday right now. Of course, a lot has to happen before then. We have to work through an entire work week until we can get to another weekend, but we'll keep you updated all week long. Now, the best way to stay updated is with the Mississippi Live Weather app. It'll send you notifications when storms are approaching, when lightning has struck, when rain, hail, anything you need to know. It gives you a good and heads up before it makes its way towards your specific location. And it'll also let you know when we go live, even outside of our broadcast schedule, in case we have to do so for some of those storms that misbehave. And that is going to be something that we're going to continue to watch all night long. Now, real quick before wrapping up, I want to make sure everybody's doing good in the comments. Looks like I have my professor in the comments saying he's watching while grading, ready for it to be less hot late next week. I think all of North Mississippi would agree with you. I think we're all ready for us to enjoy some cooler conditions. So we'll be live later on tonight at 10, continuing to give you the latest on those rain chances, the timing on some of those storms that will impact us here in North Mississippi, and what the rest of the work week, and honestly, more importantly, what your Monday looks like with that dangerous heat continuing to loom over our area. But until then, y'all continue to enjoy y'all Sunday evening. Enjoy what's left of the weekend. Get a good night's rest. This is something we'll deal with for our Monday morning. No reason to stay up and stress. And of course, download the Mississippi Live Weather app. We'll send you an alert in case we need to start your day off just a little bit earlier before your alarm goes off. Until then, y'all continue to enjoy y'all's weekend. And thanks for supporting us here at Mississippi Live.
Hi, I'm Mississippi